Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining the event today. My name is Steve Sjanjic, and I am the CEO of Amercanex, the first fully electronic marketplace in the cannabis industry. And quickly, as many financial firms, we have a quick risk disclosure that we show everybody. Actually, this is also important because there's a risk disclosure as you enter our platform, which, as you'll find throughout this process, we've built a very compliant ecosystem to help develop and grow this industry. And a quick overview. As I stated, this is the first fully electronic marketplace in the cannabis industry. And what we look to build is an ecosystem with track and traceability so we can watch and track the transaction through the entire process from the point that the individual plant starts to grow through its sales process down to the consumer or individual. And what we've developed is that real-time process so that everyone can watch the flow, whether it be a regulatory agency, an individual marketplace participant, law enforcement, and most important, public health and safety. And here's a little bit, we really like to show our team. We have extensive experience in the financial services industry. I myself spent well over 20 years in financial services, and most importantly, in what we call the e-commerce business, which is similar to what we see in everyday society today where everybody purchases products online. Michael Heron, the president of our company, also left Merrill Lynch, was at MF Global, some of the largest financial firms. Adam Martin, also co-founder of the company, for a very long time managed our back office operations and was integral in developing our entire back office system. And what you'll find is what's always most important to us, as well as what we find with the industry participants and the regulatory agencies, is that flow and the ability to have that transparency into a marketplace through an entire ecosystem, which was developed by Mark Asselin, our Chief Development Officer. So we did bring in our own in-house team to help build and develop our platform. So this is not an off-the-shelf environment. It's something that we've developed and built from scratch, and we are pioneering an entire new industry similar to what the eBays and Amazons have done for traditional sales. Robert Ruiz, our marketing officer, also was with us for some long portion of time, both in the financial services, and has been here since the beginning of the company, has extensive sales and marketing experience, and is integral in helping us develop and build the sales environment. And one thing I like to start out with is to discuss the challenges in the industry that we saw in the beginning and why we felt that we had to build an ecosystem to help not only the individual participants in the industry, but also the regulatory agencies. And the reason that we feel so strongly that there is such a need for compliance is we all feel that many states want to be in this space, but have a fear of the lack of compliance and infrastructure, and we've built that infrastructure for them. So if you look at federal versus state regulations, this is still federally illegal, yet we comply with all state regulatory agencies and state regulations from state to state, and have developed our infrastructure, our software, so that we can manage a state-by-state basis and follow state regulatory environments that they have put together. State versus state differences. Colorado, California, Nevada, New York, New Jersey, all of these states have different regulatory processes and requirements. So the use of technology like ours allows an individual environment, an individual state, to follow local and state regulatory processes, using systems like ours. Tax collection within our environment and the ability to track the product from the minute it starts to grow through its sales cycle at the point of sale when the individual consumer pays for the product and or any wholesale taxation that happens throughout the process. In our platform, we have a separate line item for regulatory agencies so they can monitor, watch, track, and trace each and every transaction so they know that they're receiving 100% of their taxes, and they can monitor and audit that individual process before even going on site, thus saving time, saving money, because we do know that if this becomes taxing on the regulatory agencies, and what I mean by that is if this becomes a revenue negative or revenue neutral for the state because of enforcement, then they've defeated the process. They defeated the reason that they've entered the cannabis industry, which is revenue for the state. Tracking of the product. We use a state-of-the-art RFID technology that allows us to track that product from the minute it starts to grow to the point that we can track facilities through GPS and other technologies where we can watch and monitor individual grow rooms, and the minute that a product is picked up, a plant is moved, we can watch that process, making sure once again that there is full integrity in this industry and making sure that our participants are following the rules, managing the business properly so that we can allow this industry to grow and flourish, eventually becoming national, eventually global. What's most important throughout this whole process, and what was most important to us as we built this industry, helped develop the systems for the participants, was providing an infrastructure for anti-money laundering. What we call KYC protocols, what that is know your customer. So when you open a bank account, when you open a brokerage account, when you open many accounts nowadays in different businesses, including utilities, you have to provide them with proper information so they know who you are. And that's called KYC. We've built protocols specifically to the cannabis industry, and what you'll see products as well, to avoid money laundering, not only for ourselves, because it is a highly cash industry, highly used, and the proper productive process here is to use an infrastructure where we can remove cash from this system consistently. And we've built those protocols so that we can avoid money laundering, so that our clients can avoid money laundering. And if you truly think about what money laundering is moving a federally illicit product in cash, which is cannabis. And any participant involved in the process of cash and cannabis can to some degree be money laundering. The opportunity here is tremendous. And these numbers are published numbers as to what we see in this industry currently in the legal marijuana cannabis industry. And the reason I say legal is because if you actually look at the marketplace as a whole currently, and if you look at California alone, the white, gray, black market in cannabis is probably somewhere around $50 billion. This market nationally is already a $100 billion marketplace. And globally, the numbers are astounding. If you include South America, if you include Europe, if you include Asia, the numbers are in the trillions. And that is what excites everybody within the cannabis industry. Our front end, our marketplace, is the ACE marketplace. It is an easy-to-use web interface where you could log on as a consumer of the product, which in our case is a dispensary, and quickly buy all of the products that you need to fill your shelves all in one place. And most importantly, we've built a e-wallet solution similar to what you would see as PayPal, so that we can allow for our participants to execute in the marketplace, pay for their goods without using cash. We now, for the first time, will allow participants to open bank accounts with one of our banking partners whom understand and know that they're in the cannabis industry, thus allowing for participants in Colorado and other states for the first time to have a marketplace like an eBay with a PayPal, and most importantly now with a bank account, which you as participants probably are excited to see that for once in the cannabis industry there is a true banking environment. And we couldn't be more proud to be able to deliver that to the industry. Our back office, which to us is probably one of the most exciting pieces of our technology, and that is a web-based back office application that allows business owners, regulatory agencies, whether it be law enforcement or it be public health and safety, it be a dispensary or a grow, the ability to monitor and track their entire business from one back office marketplace. It also has the ability to pull reports, to audit your own business, to make sure that you're capturing 100% of your revenue. Give you the ability for the first time to monitor and track products. And for the first time in an industry, monitor and track participants' products and the cost of their goods, which allows for that transparency that most marketplaces have that lack within the cannabis industry. And here's our cash management system, Ace Pay. It is similar to Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, PayPal. It's an e-wallet solution that allows for a cashless environment within the cannabis industry. It also allows participants the ability to spin off cards like Visa and MasterCard. It allows dispensaries the ability to have a cashless payment solution. It allows growers the ability to sell their product and make sure that they receive their funds, all within one environment similar to what you would see in the likes of eBay and Amazon. AceTrack is our seed-to-sale platform. It allows for full trackability and auditing of the product from the minute it begins to grow through its entire cycle. We use RFID technology to consistently provide the integrity of the product, but also provide the individual state regulatory agencies transparency into a marketplace. They have access to the entire back office environment to see and watch where the plant is and where the plant ends up. And this is how the ACE marketplace and the entire ecosystem works. A buyer deposits funds into AcePay, similar as to any online payment solution. A transaction made on the platform, similar to what you would see on the eBay. You log on, you see the product, you're able to analyze the product and then make a purchase and pay for the product. And immediately, a message is sent to all of the participants, including the transportation company, so they know where to pick up the product, where to deliver the product, and most importantly, integrity of the product through the RFID tagging system. So we know it's the product that was sold on the exchange. We also know the product that was delivered and tested at the lab and provided an infrastructure for those lab results. And this is what the ACE Marketplace dashboard looks like. On the front page, we allow participants to see many different things. Growers are able to see heat maps. You're able to analyze marketplaces. It gives them insight into the business that they're in, all in one place. It gives dispensaries the ability to see what products are available in the market. It gives them the ability to buy and sell all in one marketplace, similar to, again, the eBays and the Amazons, but also provides for an ecosystem for a regulatory infrastructure so that all of the participants and the product has full integrity, both for public health and safety and market participation. One of the things I had mentioned and discussed on the platform is before you purchase a product, we give you the ability to analyze that product. You're able to see through following the RFID tag system, you're able to see the lab result right on the platform, along with a high definition picture of the specimen that was sent to the lab. Again, allowing you to see and have full transparency into the product that you're purchasing. And if you think about what we've built here and what we've mimicked, if you look at the car industry, if you look at purchasing cars online and how that's become favorable, is because of Carfax, is having that transparency into that vehicle, which gives you the comfort to purchase that product online, knowing that when that product is delivered, it is the same product with full integrity as to what you have purchased. Again, our dashboard also gives you the ability to see what we call settlements, and that means similar to what you would see on many of the applications on eBay, is your purchase and sale history. What's been purchased, what's been sold, what's been delivered, and what's in the process. And this is important because if you think about every other industry, there is fulfillment software, there is technology that connects the entire business model that individual business owners have. Within the cannabis industry, nothing has been automated until we have brought this process. We provide a supply chain management system, a fulfillment process, distribution, the ability to connect to their back office applications like QuickBooks, procurement, transportation, sales, giving individual salespeople the ability to buy the product for their clients online, and at the click of a button having that product paid for and delivered, which is what we see in every other organization. And that is the e-commerce business that we've seen flourish and grow across every other market infrastructure. And now we've brought that to the cannabis industry. Delivery notification is very important, similar to the transactions that we all see when we use products online. When you purchase a product and sell a product, we send out a delivery notification to your phone so that immediately you could see where that order is within the process, thus giving you the ability and insight and trackability of where your product is and when it will be delivered to your store. These are some of our partners in Colorado that are expanding also in other states. Native Roots, and actually they are now holding many more licenses with over, I believe, 23 stores, as well as gas stations in the state of Colorado. He is one of the largest participants and very successful business owner, and both on the dispensary side and now on the wholesale distribution side of the actual flower, the cannabis, as well as many of the byproducts. Dixie Elixirs, the largest producer of edibles and drinkables in the space of cannabis. and uses our platform to both purchase the raw material but then resell their product to the individual dispensaries for sale down to the consumer. And Medicine Man, which has built an infrastructure in Colorado and many other states, is one of the largest growers and dispensary owners also in the state of Colorado, and has grown into many other states, and we will continue to help develop and grow our relationships with these business owners as they grow their businesses. And one thing that I would like to say about these owners is they all actually have equity in our company, which also ties them to the platform consistently. They help develop our business. And since they were helping develop our business, they were smart and understood that to help us grow, to be the forefront with us in the industry, they wanted to also own participation in the company so that as they help us build and grow, there is an upside potential for them as well. And the way that our exchange works, just so everybody understands how participants are able to join the marketplace, is similar to the exchanges around the world when it came to the commodities exchanges, the stock exchanges, is they had to have a seat on the exchange, a software license to the exchange to be able to participate and trade on the exchange. One thing we also understood as we developed and built this product is we understood through our history and through our board members that data of all of these processes is very important. We're the largest aggregator of real-time data in the cannabis industry. We've connected to platforms in the financial industry, to the likes of MetaQuotes and MetaTrader, which is one of the largest platforms for trading offshore in many different products, including CFDs, foreign exchange, and others, whom all have an appetite for data in the cannabis industry as it's evolving to be the largest marketplace in the world. And as we've seen, Bank of America, Bloomberg, Reuters, many of these consumers of data have been publishing some of the, and have the largest appetite for data in the industry. Our marketplace has an exchange built into it for the hemp industry that allows for the isolate, the raw material, to be able to be bought and sold along with its byproducts. So on a wholesale level, you find that producers of CBD oils, producers of other CBD hemp products, which we find to some degree have evolved nationally, and we find those products in stores like Whole Foods, and most recently in other products that we find on shelves in local grocery stores and at marketplaces. So it's interesting to see how the CBD oil from hemp has evolved, and we've seen many, many locations open up, and this is becoming another product on the platform that will continue to grow and facilitate a worldwide marketplace over a period of time. Our projected rollout, currently we're live in Colorado. We're moving into California, Nevada, and other markets around the country as those marketplaces evolve into free markets. Places like Illinois, which are a closed market with 5 participants. Other markets around the United States that have limited access to a free market. We will enter those markets with only our seed-to-sale technology through government contracts, as we have bid on government contracts in Pennsylvania, in Maryland, in Puerto Rico, and as states offer us the ability to enter in the race for those government contracts, we will do so across the United States. Our board members have ran the largest exchanges in the world. Richard Schaefer, the chairman of our company, ran the New York Mercantile Exchange. But what was most important about Richard is he had the foresight to take a face-to-face transaction when the NYMEX was worth $900 million and losing market share to the online platforms consistently, Richard had the foresight, the fight, and the challenge to develop a face-to-face marketplace and transaction into one of the world's largest electronic marketplaces, one of the largest IPOs on the street. Took an exchange worth $900 million to $13 billion in a very short period of time. Was the director of powerhouse organizations like ABN AMRO, and currently sits on Maryland School of Business Foundation and provides assets to many funds and hedge funds around the world for trading. He was a visionary that helped develop and build an online market which sold to the CME, and they still today use that technology that was developed by the NYMEX for their online trading platform. And no longer does that face-to-face transaction exist, not only in commodities, but on Wall Street. Pre-2007 and 8 and post-2007 and 8, the over-the-counter business, the face-to-face transaction, the phone-to-phone transaction, disappeared through Dodd-Frank and the regulatory process, because what we found was, in 2008, the inability to track an entire marketplace, to unravel an entire marketplace, which caused one of the world's largest financial disasters, truly because we didn't have the ability to track and trace that portion of the industry. We took those concepts, we took those abilities that gave us the opportunities to build platforms on Wall Street and develop them here for the cannabis industry with the help of the likes of Richard Schaefer, Gordon Rutledge, who also came from the NYMEX and was the first CEO to open a NYMEX exchange in Dubai, Tom Ross, who currently runs trading for BP North America. So we brought some of the brightest and sharpest on Wall Street to help us develop and extrapolate this business and industry, not only state to state, but nationally. And as you see, we have the experience to take this globally. Thank you very much for sitting through our presentation today. We couldn't be more proud to be in the cannabis industry. Thank you.
First question, who are your competitors in the industry with similar platforms?
So there are a few that consider themselves competitors, and the difference is they have websites that mimic the Craigslist, so they're like posting sites. They're not aggregators of data. They don't manage the entire transaction. So they've built neat websites, but we've built a technology that's driven by and developed by what we've learned from some of the largest on Wall Street, some of the biggest banks and brokerage firms, as to how to track this industry, but also have a true marketplace where participants have an ecosystem where there is a payment solution, a tracking solution, a monitoring solution where they can actually see the transaction online and others as they post, versus a Craigslist. So if you look at the difference between Craigslist and eBay, although they consider themselves marketplaces of similarity, the difference is pretty large.
Next question, does your platform include payment processing?
Yes, it does. Now, for the first time, we've launched Ace Pay, which allows for the payment processing portion of this. So we allow now dispensaries could use our e-wallet solution. So if you think about what an e-wallet solution is, most of us use them every day, and many of us don't know they're called e-wallets. So if you go to Dunkin' Donuts or if you go to Starbucks or any time that you use a card or your phone in many cases, which actually comes with a e-wallet built in if you look at your phone, it's a way to pay for something like Apple Pay using our technology. So yes, for the first time, we have a payment processing solution built in, but most importantly, and I want to specify this because what most people don't understand is within the cannabis industry, people can't get bank accounts. It's federally illegal. And for the first time, Amercanex, my customers have the ability to work with a bank that will process and take those accounts knowing they're in the cannabis business. So they don't have the fear of losing bank accounts. Like many have lost their bank accounts time and time again. And what they do is they wake up in the morning one day, they go to use their card or they go to access their account, and their account's been closed and they have to wait 30 days to get their money. You and I both know that could be devastating to many business owners. What's also most important here is that we want to make sure that the entire industry is legitimate and legal and that we remove money laundering from being one of the possibilities to hinder this industry, giving the federal government and also other law enforcement agencies the ability to look down on this industry because cash is used in so many transactions.
Next question. Could you add some color to your revenue model? You stated about the exchange seats.
Absolutely.
But then I think what the second part of the question is, I think there's some revenue opportunities for data also. And then I guess you got the payment processing fees. So maybe if you could add some color to your revenue model.
Absolutely. So yes, one is access to the platform itself, and they can access it by purchasing a seat or even leasing a seat for $99 a month. So there is an easy access point. And then every transaction, so on every transaction, the purchaser of the transaction pays a small, very small transaction fee. The way that we looked at the industry is that transaction fee already exists between buyer and seller through what we call third-party brokerage, and those fees ranged anywhere from 13 to 20%. Our fee in the state of Colorado is $50 a pound. Based on state regulatory processes within the state of Colorado, we charge $50 a pound for that process. And then we charge $3 per case on some of the other products. So there is a transaction fee which generates fees for us in this process. Then on top of that, every time they use the ACE Pay, similar to using a credit card or any other payment system, there is a transaction fee for using that payment solution, similar to using any other payment solution that exists. So we have several revenue streams, and most importantly, like you touched on, the sale of data is very, very important. The sale of data becomes another revenue stream, not only to brokerage firms that provide insight to their clients, but to the likes of data aggregators, so news companies like Bloomberg and Reuters. The appetite for cannabis data is at an all-time high. We are the first to aggregate real-time price data, real-time transaction data, similar to what you see in all products, on all of the different products within the industry. And then we provide aggregation of all that data so we could provide that data to many resources, whether that be banks, whether that be regulators, or that be individual businesses that look to seek to find out what this industry is doing and where the benefits are.
Next question, who would you, as far as sales, who would you go after? Would you go after the banks, relationship with the banks, the cannabis businesses? So who would be most attractive to offer your platform to?
So the business owners, in the cannabis industry. So if you look at dispensaries, if you look at growers, anybody that's looking to buy or sell a product, if you were an individual buying or selling a product at home and you had eBay to go on to reach so many more participants than you could reach by going door to door, that's the participant that we reach, right? So it's any grower, it's any dispensary owner, it's anybody selling or buying a product within the cannabis industry. Secondly, what's really important is for an infrastructure for the individual regulatory agencies to have the ability to monitor and track this entire industry. If you think about the ecosystem that we provide for the entire regulatory process, we could provide an infrastructure for the entire world within the cannabis industry for monitoring, tracking, and tracing every portion of this entire industry. You have to remember, we watch the individual companies buy the raw material, produce their product, resell it, buy and sell it with the payment solution. We watch them deliver it. So we have data from many, many different sets and can provide that to everybody in the industry. So if you think about what we've developed and built for the cannabis industry, and the first to do so, it could be as big as the internet. It could be as big as eBay. It could be as big as Amazon. This has never existed within the cannabis industry, and yet e-commerce is standard in everybody's life on a daily basis. This is what we've built and developed. So when you ask who's this good for, it's good for every participant and regulatory agency across the world.
Okay. Next question. What are you guys planning to expand to the Canadian market?
Oh, I couldn't be more excited to hear this, because we originally looked at the Canadian market and held off because the regulators held off on licensing. As we've all seen over the course of the past few months, the regulatory process with the new administration in Canada looks to be opening up that marketplace to a national level, where we'll be able to open up that marketplace, and we're looking at hopefully first or second quarter, and we feel that that could be one of the largest marketplaces that Amercanex will be building a business. You have to remember, different than in the United States, that will be a national market. They could buy and sell from each other across the entire state. That's exciting, my friend.
Next question, it's sort of general. I don't know if you want to answer it, but would you be an acquisition candidate in the future, and who would be interested in acquiring you because of your platform? So
absolutely, and I would like to address that question, because this is why we built this, and this is where, you know, as you know, we have first mover advantage. So the likes of the CME, which is the largest commodities exchange in the world, the likes of the eBays, what we call the e-commerce marketplaces, and the PayPals of the world, once they are able to participate in this industry, they will look, and as we've seen through the acquisitions that they've made over the years, they will look to companies like ours as a springboard into the industry, instead of trying to enter the industry from the ground floor. Most of the companies and most of the exchanges look to purchase companies in the space that are leaders, that have market share, that have that first mover advantage. So we could be a target. We could be also a target to go public if the marketplace does have that infrastructure and provide us with the resources to do so. So this could be something that not only could become a public company through a real IPO, or it could be one of the acquisition targets from either some of the largest e-commerce businesses or exchanges across the world.
next question, how can you work with the feds and the states to use your platform?
Well, see, that's what we do. So part of this is our business model. So when we started this business, we looked at it and we said, well, we have two clients. We have industry participants and we have regulatory agencies. And that's how we run our business. On the regulatory agency side, we provide regulatory agencies with the ability to access our platforms through government contracts. So the way that governments work is they have what's called a request for proposal, an RFP. And what they do is they allow market participants to come in, submit proposals to win the state contract and be the state's portion of the industry and regulatory process. So we approach this through not only our clients because it becomes a great infrastructure software to run their business and automates their business, thus saving them thousands upon thousands of dollars, but it also provides for the regulators and the regulatory agencies the ability to have that transparency into a marketplace where they don't have any. And if you really think about what is needed to help this industry grow, and if you think about any process in any business model, if you don't have a comfort level as to what is going on within your business, you're never going to allow the doors to open and grow. And that's how we looked at it when we built this product for the regulators. Unless they have the ability to have transparency in this market, know with comfort that they have the ability to track and trace this market and watch the transaction happen on a real-time basis, monitor and audit an industry from the click of a button. There is no other infrastructure that provides what we provide into an industry where not only the participant but the regulatory agencies need this infrastructure for this entire industry to grow to the level that we all know and the potential that it has. And Amercanex has built that.
Okay, we got about 4 more questions, so we'll go over a little bit. Maybe we could get the questions answered in the next 5 minutes. Next question, how does your platform deal with chargebacks, and how long does your system take to refund money? Do you see the return of product as a major issue?
So that's, again, another great question. So if anybody here has used to buy and sell products on eBay, there is one process in the mix that we also have that protects everybody within the financial transaction. So as a seller of a product on eBay, until the product is delivered, signed for by the customer, and given notice, PayPal doesn't release the funds. And we also have integrity within our platform where the buyer and seller can see the credit and debit of funds to their accounts. And the funds sit in escrow, in suspension, until the product is delivered, signed for, thus providing integrity into the marketplace so that everybody has that comfort level to purchase a product online. And if they do get a product that they're uncomfortable with, they're going to return it just like any other product. We immediately, because the money is in escrow, we immediately move those funds upon the return to the individual client's accounts. And then we suspend trading to the client until we can monitor the transaction, see what happened with integrity of the product, and then either suspend the grower or provide him with a process to enter back into the marketplace. Always looking to manage integrity.
Next question, how will an out-of-state seller ship the product to a buyer without violating federal laws that prohibit interstate movement of cannabis?
Absolutely. So if you remember what we discussed earlier, we said that this is a state-by-state process. So the only participants that could buy and sell from each other are participants within the state. So in Colorado, all of the participants in Colorado could buy and sell from each other. That product cannot by law be purchased or sold across state line. So we provide an infrastructure that does not allow for states from participants from other states to see what's bought and sold in Colorado. So we lock that transaction down to each individual state based on state and federal regulation.
Next question. How many transactions go through per day?
So, and that's also a great question. Currently, within the marketplace, we've seen transactions in some days, and we've seen hundreds of pounds. In other days, we've seen zero, and I'll explain why. We most recently, just about a week and a half ago, put our payment solution into the marketplace. Prior to that, and over the course of the past 2.5 years, some days our clients have bank accounts, and other days they don't have bank accounts. Now, based on how we built our company, based on what we go back to, which is KYC, which is anti-money laundering policies and procedures that we have within our business, and compliance policies and procedures, we will never, and I'll say this several times, we will never transact in cash or facilitate a cash transaction. So we've had to build other widgets to help us grow our business so that our business, as well as others in this industry, don't face that roller coaster ride of some days we have transactions and some days we don't. And all of that based on the inability to have a proper payment solution built in place. This is why we built a e-wallet to do so.
Next question. Are you getting the real-time pricing data via POS systems?
So no, the individual participants that are buying and selling the product are the ones that produce the market price for what we call the flower itself, right, for the cannabis. When it comes to the manufactured products section of our website or of our platform, those products that Dixie produces, the chocolates and the drinks that they sell to the dispensaries, that is a standard price. There is no way to negotiate there. On cannabis and on the open marketplace, you're able to negotiate price. So you may see 10 strains of Bubba Kush, and you may look at the labs, and based on the labs, some may have more value, some may have less, and may give you the ability to negotiate price with the vendor to get the best price for what you need all of the time.
And the last question, how do you differ from BD Analytics and New Frontier?
So they are nothing but aggregators of data. So those companies would look to companies like ours to purchase our real-time data, and then they provide analysis data to the marketplace. We provide all of that, including the ability to buy and sell a product, track and trace, and have a payment solution built in, all in one marketplace versus having to go to many different marketplaces to get that information. So to give you an example, before us, a dispensary would have to go to 20 or 30 websites, buy products individually, figure out how they're going to pay for that, because in many cases it has to be in cash, so they have to send a check in, and then eventually receive a product to stock their shelves. Very antiquated. We've automated this whole process. Amercanex has built the first fully electronic marketplace to automate this process for everybody in the cannabis industry. Thank you very much, Noah.
Well, thank you, Steve. That concludes our Q&A. Any last comments regarding Amercanex?
I'd like to say that we're proud to be in the cannabis industry. We'd like to be at the forefront, and frankly, we feel that we have the answer to the regulatory process from both a state as well as a federal level.
Well, thank you, Steve. Would like to let the audience know Amercanex will be on the cover of the Cannabis Investor magazine in May. So we'll do about a 12, 14-page profile in the May issue. They will be on the cover. So looking forward to that, and we really thank you, Steve.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.